water features enhance any garden, providing ornamental interest, soothing sounds and a habitat for wildlife. And on a spring morning like today, water features come into their own. Here to show us just what's possible, horticulturist David Domin with this gorgeous copper tree.
Isn't it marvellous? This has been created by an artist, Mehrdad Tafreshi, and he's been doing it for years now, creating almost sculptures that have a way to move water in a certain way. And just at the edge of the leaves, you can see there's a little hole, and the whole centre part of this tree fills with water and then bursts and falls almost like rainfall back. And it's all created out of copper.
So it fills up.
It sounds like rainfall rather than normal. Oh. Listen to that.
Here we go.
How lovely is that?
Do you know, Chatsworth in Derbyshire, there's a very old weeping willow tree. It's the same sort of principle. It's a big tree, a weeping willow, and you turn the water on and it weeps, it does its... But this is glorious,
The thing I like, it's got its own copper beaten bowl at the base, so you could almost... The installation is so easy on top of a patio, a lawn, in a border, and the whole unit is £4,200.
That's for the base and the tree?
Yeah. But if you just wanted the tree to put it in your own pond, it's about 2,400, and it's all copper. And of course, it'll change as it oxidises and have that lovely verdigris
green
colour
tinge over it. Yeah, beautiful.
I love the
Now,
sound.
this is a bit more basic. And I should make the point here that we are not on level ground, which makes it difficult in a paddock to get an even flow. But this water should be covering the entire surface, shouldn't it?
That's right. And what it is, it's actually core 10 steel, so it's during the process of its change, it changes to the rusty colour, that lovely burnt oranges and brown, and that'll cover the whole lot. It'll help it spread. And that oxidisation around the outside will also help not only its aesthetic, but also it's longer lasting as well. And it's got a light at the bottom.
So you could position this alongside a wall or a fence or whatever, couldn't you?
That's it, about £580. We got that from Primrose.
Yeah.
So that's more of a contemporary style design rather than the Quist tree being classic.
And then you got from contemporary to traditional. I mean, this is really sort of, you might say, old-fashioned, but it's a solar panel.
It's solar panel. So you do need the sun to get this full flow that we've got here. It's
or a friend with a very large flashlight.
Yes.
Standing in a corner of your garden. Say, would you mind just, if your child's been naughty, right, you'll stand there with a flashlight and you make the fountain work for an hour.
And it'll work. It'll work. But of course, it's not stone, it's plastic. And this is more of a budget, a price entry point at about a couple of £100 or something similar. So it's a nice follow-up.
In the right place, in a formal area in a garden, it can look good.
There's something for everyone, and that's the thing about
Great for birds too, though.
Oh, they'll come in and they'll use it as a little bird bath. Now, something a little bit more natural that you may wish to inset into a rockery or have a standalone feature. All of these are generating water from a reservoir that it's got and just recycling it. It doesn't need to be plugged in as such. This one here is £530, and you can either set that on its own on a patio or blend it in with the border more to create an effect.
Yeah, the whole key to this one and that one is the setting in which they're put, because they can look a bit sort of artificial and not as nice as they could look when they're planted up around with things which complement them really or contrast with them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Each of them are individual, more of a traditional, something that's small and lightweight and budget. You've also got the contemporary and then the beautiful
copper one at the end. Well, these are water features that you can buy, but you can also make your own. And if you want to make your own, you ask Wayne Perry, don't you? Because he knows exactly how to do it. What are you going to do for us now?
Like, to me, all of the water features that David's just shown you all have the same principle. They all have like a water trough or a reservoir, and you have a pump. So you've got a pump inside here, and they're about £30. They vary in prices, but we want this to go up and high. So there's some details on it that shows you how high the water can get pumped up. So I've made sure this is a 2-metre high one. Yeah. So we've got this. That has to be submerged into your water trough. And it's quite crude here. We're showing you the pump coming through the back.
But this could be, you could hide that pipe and it could be on a wall or whatever.
Exactly. It can be hidden anywhere. And all you need to do is create some kind of cascade. You need to create, I've seen it before where on steps they'll have watering cans running down the stairs. And as long as the circular water can get to the top, and it's work its way down. So I'm going to show you how to do a simple one here. This could be on the side of your shed or on the side of a wall or something like that. So I've got myself a few watering cans here. I've drilled a hole in the back, and then what I need to do is I need to put a screw through, but always use a washer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, when you're screwing through, it'll go all the way through the metal.
The watering can will fall off
The watering
wall.
can will fall through.
Yeah, I'm good at that kind of thing, me. I enjoy that. That's generally the way I do it.
So I've put that through there, in there, and I found just an old washer, like a nut in the back, and I've put that in the back just so it gives something flush.
Right. Yeah,
because we've
spacer
got
for
this
that handle.
Bit of a spacer for the handle.
Yeah.
And also it keeps it angled inwards. Get my drill. There we are. Make that a little bit tighter. Making sure that the hose is going to be filling the watering can. Did the same with the second one. Again, not forgetting the washer.
The pump is going to operate. It's going to tip water into that first can. You see, I've worked this out. And then when that can fills up, it will disgorge its load into the can below.
Okay, so we've got that there, and again, if you hide all this with plants and things like that, it'll add to it. So we're just going to plug it on. Obviously, make sure your electrics are out of the way of the water. And the water is siphoning through here, working its way up, and it'll fill these up. And it's coming through now.
So if you pull your watering can handles up, it'll look a bit more decorative, won't it? That's it, look at that. It looks like a watering can now. Oh. Now, I was talking earlier to David about the sound that water makes and how critical it is that it makes a pleasing sound. Now, of course, when this is filling up, this is not necessarily a pleasing sound, Wayne. However, once it gets fuller, it will be a pleasing sound, and it won't be long now before. And of course, you could do another one below that, couldn't you, if you wanted? There we go. Look at that.
And it's a continuous cycle, but one thing to be aware as well, make sure the trough is big enough.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you've got really hot weather, I've seen it before where if the trough is quite small, the hot weather will literally evaporate the water, so it runs dry. So make sure whatever trough you use is big enough for that.
Yeah.
So that's that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to unplug this one, if that's all right. Rattling some noise there.
Or I might have to shoot off.
Now this one here, I love copper and I love working with copper. Now this one is from a really brilliant artisan online called Creative Shed. And he's made this one bespoke for you can buy them online. But if you want to make something similar, and I'm going to plug this one in to show you how this one works.
So it's all copper piping?
It's all copper piping, it's all in there. And again, you get a nice little water pump in here. That's so pleasing sound. And you can adjust.
To have that sitting down your patio where you know, among your chairs and your table, it's quite sweet, isn't it?
And all of these pumps have adjustments in them, so you can get the speed going, you know, quicker.
Oh, yeah.
So you can play about a little bit.
Hours of amusement, especially for small children.
I'll let you unplug that one for me, if that's all right.
Yep.
But if you want to make your own copper, you know, you don't need to necessarily be at a weld and all of that lot. You know, you can see the copper here is being bent. There's a really lovely little tool that you can create. And also, with copper piping, it comes in different sizes.
Yeah.
So you get a 15mm copper pipe. This attaches to the end of your hose.
Yeah.
So whatever you attach to this, then the water will come through here. So you could...
And if you warm the end of your hose up in boiling water, it will go on, and then when it contracts, it will make a nice seal. Or you can put a Jubilee clip on it.
Yeah, exactly. The Jubilee clips, you know, look a little bit
there
like
we go.
this, you know. You can tie it on. But you could bend this in any which way you like. You could even, like, puncture it with nails or screws just to add, you know, water effects or little drips coming out.
Play around.
Play around and get the
Now,
kids
this
involved.
is taking me back. My dad was a plumber.
Yeah.
And he had these in various thicknesses.
Yeah, and it's a pipe bender.
Yeah.
And so I'm using 15mm copper pipe and I've got 15mm pipe bender. And you slide this inside. You put a little piece of wire on the end just so you can yank it out so it doesn't get stuck. So you slide this in. So that's in there. We've got that there. And literally, it's a bit of knee bending, you know. But you don't do one big bend. You do loads of little bends because it'll nick in places. So you literally just bend it, move it across, bend it, move it across. So, and what it does, it holds it in place. So it doesn't.
Whereas if you tried to do it on its own, it would kink.
Yeah, it would do a big
kink.
kink.
You can do things like that as long as you've got that inside it.
So you could get creative with it. So the ideas of a water feature being really expensive, it doesn't have to be. You can spend 15 quid on a pump and some kind of trough. This was, what, 4 quid and the pipe was 15 quid. You could create anything.
Oh, it's just wonderful. A weekend in your shed.
Yes.
With that. Hours of amusement. Thank you, Wayne. And thank you, David. Or should that be David and Wayne? Yes, Domin and Perry, thank you very much indeed.